Hello, this is Nina, and I want to share something with you today. I'd like to talk to you today about dating, courtship, and all that kind of thing. Because I made the other video about like who would I want my daughters to marry, and all that stuff. And I started to think that this may actually be something interesting to talk about as well. Well, first of all, um, everybody has a different view on what dating is. A lot of people have different views on what it should consist of, what age you should start at, and some people don't even believe in dating at all. Well, we first need to get out the understanding of what dating is and what it isn't. Well, first of all, that's everybody's opinion. Some people feel that dating is just a way to get to know people and have a good time. Other people feel that dating is not a good choice because it's kind of like randomly going through life, just going out with different people casually, and everybody has a different view. Well, courtship is slightly different because courtship, or at least the courtship that I know of, is when you're solely going out with one person and your family is aware of that person, and basically you're going out with that person with the intent on discovering whether this person will be a future mate for you. Okay? So what I have here today is a couple of topics: chaperoning, age, activities that you do on a date, the requirements, and what was it like for me when I was in that wonderful phase of my life. Well, first of all, when I was in high school, I really didn't have a lot of dates or anything like that because I was really shy, and my mom and dad were pretty strict on me, and I really didn't think about dating much. I just thought like that I would like to have a date for prom or something like that, and I'll tell you about that in another video. But for me, I was really into my friends. My friends, mostly girls, but a couple of boys. We would just come and hang out together on the weekends. They'd come to my house. I'd go to their house, and the girls, I'd go to their house, and we'd spend the night and go to the movies, go to teen clubs sometimes. Sometimes we would just go to the mall or something like that. But as far as going out with boys and stuff, it really didn't happen a whole lot. Any of the guys that I really went out with were the guys that, and I say guys like there's a whole lot, they really weren't. They never went to school with me. There were people that weren't even in my school or area or anything. But the requirement that my parents had on me was that they had to meet the guy. I could not go out with him if my parents didn't like him, and they would make it clear right there in his face. And I couldn't go out with him even on that day that they met him. It wasn't like I could go out with him the night that my parents met him for the first time. They might meet him like in January, and I might not be allowed to go out with him until 2 or 3 weeks, maybe even longer, because they have to see him several times, and they want him to visit, eat lunch with us or eat dinner with us, come by and visit, have a movie night at home with us or something like that. And my parents would gauge how he would behave, and if they didn't like him, they would let him know, and he'd be gone. But basically, the guys, a lot of times, they were kind of, most of the American guys or whatever were kind of intimidated by that. And so a lot of them wouldn't want to hang around because, honestly, a lot of the young guys, unfortunately, at least where I live anyway, they kind of wanted to have dates without their parents around and stuff, so they kind of cut out a lot of that. I didn't have any problems with non-American guys because they were pretty much used to that concept. But nevertheless, I really didn't do a lot of dating. Now, there were a couple of guys that I did like here and there, and I would talk on the phone to them until my parents found out. It was never serious, never got ugly or, naughty or anything, but my parents were really strict about that as well. I could only talk on the phone to, I couldn't call a boy, they had to call me, and it couldn't be long conversations, it couldn't be, what they call disrespectful, meaning like calling after certain hours, that kind of thing. And if they didn't want to come by and visit me, they weren't allowed to really talk on the phone to me, but maybe once or twice before my parents would pretty much cut that off. So generally, my parents had a lot of say in that matter, and I appreciate them for that because really what they were trying to do was trying to protect me from the things that can happen when girls, like boys, sneak out with them and the parents don't know about it. Something happens, the guy's somewhere else, and the girl's back at home and she's feeling bad. I mean, I know that I'm not trying to sound like women are vulnerable, like that we're just victims. No, I'm not saying that. But a lot of times when you're a young woman or a young girl or teenager, you might really want to go out with a guy, your parents don't like him, and you're just thinking that your parents are being unreasonable. And really what they're trying to do is protect you from something that they already know because they've been there before. Excuse me, just a second, I need to blow my nose. Hold on.